Hormuz. At 0341 Zulu, the global energy market functionally closed. This is not an exercise. A Qatari Q-Max LNG carrier is mission killed, its cargo burning on the water. Stay with me, because the weapon that did this was not aimed at a ship, but at an actuarial table in London. 20 minutes later, a Saudi VLCC, a supertanker, goes dead in the water, propulsion destroyed. This was not a random attack. This was a capabilities demonstration. This was a declaration that the foundational assumption of global trade has been shattered. For 50 years, one truth held: the U.S. Navy guaranteed the safety of this strait. That guarantee just proved worthless. 21 million barrels of oil per day, 1/5 of the world's supply, just stopped flowing. The arteries of the global economy are hardening in real time. This is not a military story first. It is a story about math, the brutal, unforgiving math of depletion. Let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz. A 21-mile-wide channel, the most critical energy choke point on Earth. More than just oil, 1/3 of the world's liquefied natural gas also passes through this artery. For decades, this flow was underwritten by the U.S. Fifth Fleet, a military guarantee for a commercial reality. That guarantee allowed insurance companies in London to price the risk of transit as near zero. Insurance was the invisible system that made the physical system operational. On the other side, Iran has spent decades building an anti-access area denial network. Not to win a conventional naval battle, but to make the risk of entry incalculable. That latent risk just became a manifest structural collapse. Let's talk about the weapon, the Ghadir-II. This is a solid-fuel, road-mobile, anti-ship ballistic missile. Solid fuel means it's stored ready to fire. No fueling, no preparation, no warning. Road mobile means the launchers, the TELs, are dispersed, hidden deep inside Iran, safe from preemption. At 0315 Zulu, a coordinated salvo of 6 Ghadir-II missiles launched from near Bandar Abbas. Their target, the flow of global commerce. Let's talk about the SHIELD, the Aegis Combat System. A U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, the pinnacle of naval air defense, was on station. Its radar detected the launch. Its systems tracked the threat. Its interceptors fired. SM-6 interceptors, among the most advanced in the world, surged towards the incoming missiles. 4 projectiles are successfully destroyed, a kill. But the Ghadir-IIs perform high-G terminal maneuvers, designed specifically to stress the defender's fire control loop. 2 leakers penetrate the defensive screen. The system worked. And the system failed. The Aegis shield was proven permeable. That was the only demonstration that mattered. The target of the Ghadir-II was not the steel hull of a tanker. The target was the risk assessment models at Lloyd's of London. Let's talk about the Joint War Committee. Within 2 hours of the strike, this committee of maritime insurers convened an emergency session. They did not debate geopolitics, they assessed physical risk. The evidence was undeniable, a successful ASBM strike against a commercial vessel. They issued a new circular, effective immediately. The Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, the Gulf of Oman, all reclassified as a zone of active, incalculable risk. This is not a suggestion, it is a contractual mechanism. War risk insurance premiums, if offered at all, increased 1,000-fold. A single voyage now costs 20% of the ship's entire value. Commerce is no longer viable. All tanker charterers with vessels en route refuse to enter the strait. The blockade is not kinetic, it is actuarial. Iran did not need to sink every ship. It only needed to prove it could kill one. The physical flow of 21 million barrels of oil per day halts. Not slowed, halted. This triggers the next phase, a global depletion countdown. Let's talk about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The SPR is the world's emergency buffer, a stockpile of oil held for a crisis exactly like this. Total government-controlled stocks across the globe stand at approximately 1.5 billion barrels. The U.S. itself holds roughly 360 million barrels in salt caverns under Texas and Louisiana. It seems like a large number. It is not. A shortfall of 21 million barrels per day against a reserve of 1.5 billion. The math is simple. 71 days until the world's emergency supply is gone. 71 days from today to the total depletion of the global strategic buffer. But the reality is worse. The reserves cannot be drawn down that fast. The pipes are only so big. The maximum combined drawdown rate from the International Energy Agency can only replace 8 to 10 million barrels per day. Not the full 21 million, less than half. This means the physical deficit begins now. Brent crude futures don't just spike, they break the market, triggering circuit breakers as prices triple to $300 a barrel. Within 72 hours, fuel rationing protocols begin. Airlines ground fleets, supply chains seize, gas stations are stripped bare. This is the cascade. The kinetic event triggers the actuarial event, which triggers the market event, which triggers the logistical event. The UN Security Council is paralyzed, a diplomatic failure. The president faces a binary choice: a massive war to reopen the strait or accept global economic collapse. From this morning forward, the architecture of global security has changed. It means the era of U.S. guaranteed freedom of navigation is functionally over. It means the true vulnerability of our complex global system was never military, but financial. We built a load-bearing wall of military deterrence, but the real foundation was an insurance contract. The Ghadir-II missile was simply the tool used to target that foundation with surgical precision. This is the new map of infrastructure warfare, where the critical node is not a destroyer's missile tubes, but an incalculable risk clause in a legal document. The 1973 oil crisis was a 5 million barrel per day shock, and it broke the world economy. We now face a shock 4 times that magnitude. The math that governed the 20th century no longer applies. A new era of energy warfare, fought with actuarial tables and missile salvos, has begun. Thresholds once crossed cannot be uncrossed. The depletion countdown has already started. The Strait of Hormuz is closed.